I can start. So exactly, you should have seen a message by now that the meeting is going to be recorded. So we will make the presentations and the recording available for those who couldn't attend. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this workshop, Smart Development, Unleashing Skills for Future-Ready Cities and Communities. A little bit of background before passing the floor to the speakers of today. My name is Alessandra Zini, and I'm Project Manager at the European Digital SME Alliance. We are a proud partner of the projects that are going to contribute the most to this event today, which is the Smart Site project and Erasmus Plus, that is building a new curricula, an updated curricula for smart city engineers and technicians, but we will learn more about it later. We will also delve into the skills that are needed. So quite important for all the stakeholders here that work in the smart city and community sector. And then we will hear contributions from the Auroral project, which is an Horizon 2020, that is building an interoperable middleware to connect regions across Europe. But you will learn more about this later. The scope of this workshop is indeed to create new connections, to extend the outreach of the organizations that are present. Here, we have actually a very diversified audience. We have organizations from the private sector, technology providers, training providers. We have public administrations, because as you might all know, when it comes to future-ready city, it must be a joint effort, a public effort jointly with the private sector, training providers, of course, people who work on smart city and smart communities has to have the right skills, the right set of skills to be ready to, let's say, transition to a digitalized city and living environment. But with no further ado, I would like to actually give the floor to the first two speakers of today. They represent European institutions, namely the European Commission and the Committee of the Regions. They will give us some background of what is happening at the EU level when it comes to smart cities and smart communities initiatives. There is a lot of going on, and I'm sure that you are going to be quite interested in what they're going to tell us. So please, with no further ado, I would like to give the floor to Mariana Furtado, Communication Officer of DG Connect.
Hello, everyone. So
Hi, Mariana.
Hi, I'm going to start sharing my slides.
Yes, please. Let me stop sharing mine, maybe. No, okay, you can make it anyway, right? Good.
Can you see it?
Yes. Okay,
perfect. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview what we are doing. I work for the European Commission, DG Connect. The unit deals with technologies for smart cities and communities. Looking at the audience here, I think that most of you will understand this slide, but I'll give you a little bit of an explanation. So this is the smart city and communities ecosystem. Now we're working a lot with local digital twins. So digital twins applied to cities and communities. But of course, the digital twins don't show up out of nowhere. So before we reach the level of the local digital twin, we need to have data. And we need to have an infrastructure to collect this data. And we need to have a way to store the data, a way to share the data, to process it, and to make it available. So that's why we're working, for instance, in the data space for smart cities and communities that aims to be a EU-wide data space. And also the word of the day is interoperability. So we're trying that all our solutions are interoperable to avoid the cities get locked, like that they get their information locked and they are not able to share it amongst each other or amongst different parts of the sectors of the city. And we also want solutions that are open source so that then can be replicated by other cities and other cities can benefit from them. So I'll just mention living in EU, which is a very, very important thing for us. But I know My colleague Marek Bobet is going to present it afterwards. So I'm just going to focus at the end in the work of the capacity building subgroup of Living in EU. So one of our projects is the DS4S-SCC, which is about to end. And it's a preparatory action that's developing a sort of blueprint of the data space. Now, the next stage, it's going to be 10 to 12 pilots with involving several cities that will be implementing this blueprint. And this they will start towards the summer. And the final objective is to have a connected European smart citizen community data space. So we're basically doing the groundwork so that this can be achieved. From data spaces to local digital twins. So at our unit, we're working in developing a local digital twin toolbox. So this is going to be a tool that cities are going to be able to get bits of this tool and mix and match and create their own digital twin. So we're basically giving the cities something to start their digital twin or to develop it. So at the moment, this process has several stages, and at the moment where we have an open call for tender to develop this toolbox. So that this call, this is around 24.5 million, I think. And it's predicted to start its work in January, 2024. And this toolbox should be available to cities and communities at the end of 2026. So going even one step forwards, here we have funding towards the Cityverse. So we're going into the realm of virtual worlds, but we're trying to keep it useful, like in a way to, especially to be citizen-centric, to connect the citizens and to make their experience easier. And at the beginning, the projects that we're funding, we're going to be building into existing local digital twins and expanding on top of that to reach the Cityverse. And at the end, also, all of this will be open source and reusable. So I flew through this a bit fast because I know I don't have a lot of time, but feel free to email me if you want to know more or if you have further questions. And now this is the EDIC. So this is the European Digital Infrastructure Consortium, which is at the pre-notification stage. And the EDIC is going to be important in implementing all these things in Europe. So at the moment, we're hoping for around 14 member states to be part of this EDIC. And if you're interested, other member states, everyone can join still. So it's still, we can still be part of the process. And so this is going to be a way for cities to pool their resources together and countries. So digital infrastructure is very expensive. So this is going to be a way of sharing high costs. Then it's going to be a tool to manage all these infrastructures. Where it's going to be a way for solutions to be more standardized. It's going to help in the integration of these platforms we spoke about. And it's a way through collaborations to share the risks of the investments you make, besides many other things. So this is a bit, I try to integrate a bit all these actions with the EDIC. So the EDIC, we're hoping it will be established in March 2024. but this is not yet a settled thing. So we're still in the process. So now, after presenting what we're doing in DG Connect side, I'm going to speak a bit about what Living in EU is doing in their capacity building work, because I know this is interesting to many people in the audience. If you don't know Living in EU, it's a city-led movement where cities work together to reach digital transformation. So the Education and Capacity Building subgroup, it's led by ENOL, so the European Network of Living Labs, and it's powering innovation through education and capacity building. So there's a subgroup with cities that are part of the Living in EU movement, and they work together regularly towards this capacity building. So early this year, there was a workshop to establish the needs so they could address it. And as the main conclusions out of this workshop, we saw that this was mainly with people, city representatives, and what were the barriers to reach digital transformation. And so the top 3 things that came out was that there was a need to break up the silo culture. There was a need to make technical things understandable, and there was a need to have a citizen-centric approach. So there was also a webinar involving citizens in, or how to involve citizens in the conception, from the conception moment of local digital twins. And these are the upcoming activities. So on the 9th of October, there'll be a second subgroup meeting, and the topic is enhancing digital twin development through the Living Labs. And this will be followed by a workshop on collecting tools for the Living in EU catalog of tools. So the Living in EU platform has some assets like the minimum interoperability mechanisms, which I think Marek Bobis will mention. But we're also are going to have tools, and it's going to be a collection of tools from lots of different projects that are all going to be gathered together for cities to go there, search, and be able to use, so that everything is in one place. And this is a future training on the data spaces, and it will have 4 sessions, and you have the link there in case you still want to enroll. And I think I've finished my time. So feel free to email me or contact me if you want to know anything more about any of the slides.
Thank you, Mariana. Thank you so much, actually, also for sticking to the time. It was perfect. So thank you very much. And actually, if you could share with me the presentation, maybe with your contact email, then I will make sure that all the participants receive it, so they can have a look also at the links that you provided. I saw there is also a link to a very interesting report on the needs. So please feel free to share it with me, so I'll make sure to disseminate it, let's say. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and now let's hear a little bit more about what is happening in Living in EU, and initiatives and tools also that are being launched. So I would like to pass the floor to Marek Bobis from the Committee of the Regions. Marek, welcome, and thank you for being here with us. The floor is yours. I think you are able to share your screen now, so please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having us here. I will not share my screen with the presentation, but I will present the tool that I'd like to share with you today. First of all, the Committee of the Regions, as the assembly of elected local and regional leaders, is not only participating in legislative work through providing legal opinions, but we are also part of expert work at different levels and fora, And we are supporting the Living in the EU initiative, which is, as mentioned by Mariana, a city-led movement. Currently, it has, I think, more than 150 supporters and more than 150 signatories. So it's growing, and the Living in EU initiative is behind several practical tools and projects. And I'd like to present you one, which is being developed together with the Eurocities within the so-called working group on measuring and monitoring, and in collaboration with cities that are gathered in the subgroup with experts, with Eurocities, with ENOL, with OASC, ERIN, and so forth, and especially with ESPON. We have been developing a tool which is called Lordimas, and this Lordimas tool is a local and regional digital maturity assessment tool. Because in fact, we have learned that that cities and regions, they are providers of services to citizens, also including services of general interest. And since these services are provided digitally and delivered instantly, we are gaining savings in terms of times, financial resources, and personnel. And the data, they are now the oil of our economy, and they are, of course, needed for decision making, but not for everyone. Not everyone has access to these opportunities, because be it they are not aware of these opportunities, they are not aware of how to use the data, they don't have sufficient resources, be it financial, personal, or technical. And this applies especially to smaller cities and municipalities. So the main issue to overcome is the lack of data at subnational level. We have data at national level. Of course, we have DZ index, and we have the way how to monitor the achievement of targets of the digital decades. But when we go down, when we go to the regional or even municipal level, we don't have this data. And there have been several attempts to collect this data. One of them was the Digizer survey, which was a large survey conducted by ESPON. I think there was also the Polytechnic University in Milan. And they gathered data from more than 170 cities. But it took them, I think, 1 year to collect this data. It was a tedious work, and it cost I don't know, 600,000 euros. Of course, this is not feasible. We have 73,000 municipalities in the EU, and contacting those municipalities directly and gather data on their digital transformation would be a no-go, of course. So we have to find a way how to collect data a different way. That's why we have come up with a solution. First, we have started thinking about the indicators that could be collected at city or regional level, and then starting with these indicators, we try to see a way how to collect them. So we come up with the idea of a voluntary and free of charge tool to self-assess a city, municipality, or region's digital maturity. And this self-assessment test is now being in a beta phase, so beta testing phase, and we would like to launch it on the 2nd of October and to have it also presented during the European Week of Regions and Cities. And now I will present you how it looks like now. Oh, I need to start video and share the screen. I hope you can see the screen now.
No.
What about now?
Now it's loading. All right.
Can you see it?
Now we see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Thank you.
So this is the tool. As I said, it's free of charge, and it's an instant tool. So anybody who participates gets an instant and immediate view how they score. First of all, of course, somebody who wants to participate needs to enter the data. if they want to benchmark against anybody else. But the precondition of using the tool, I mean, in its full scope, is to enter data and to be able to compare against other cities. So, for example, you go to home, and then from this start screen, you can explore what cities have already entered the data. And then you can also insert your data. So you start the questionnaire, which is gathered around seven clusters: governance, service design, data management, interoperability, service delivery, technology, networking. And once you fill in this survey, okay, it takes some time, but then you will immediately see the result, how you score. For a glance, you can have a look how it looks like. So with general information, which city you represent, then you go to different sections, and then you just start filling in the data. What is also good, that you can download the form offline. You can see what answers you can give, and then start filling in the form online. It is quite straightforward. We have also added a glossary if some explanations are needed. And once you complete the form, you can submit it. And then immediately you will get the results. So, for example, here you see the screen where there are some cities that have participated in beta testing, and then you can choose which city or a municipality you want to see, you want to consult. So here we have selected 2 cities, and together they are scoring 31 points out of 100. The purpose is not to be the best. The purpose is to see how you score and where you can improve, because nobody will score 100%, that's for sure. But this is the way how to see the real achievements and what can be improved. You can also see that one city is scoring better. You can, for example, as I said, this is a benchmarking tool. So you will click on benchmark and consult, and then on the left you will have your city, and on the right you will have another city which you will be able to consult and see how good they are. For example, well, it's loading still, but on the left I have selected the French cities in the north, and on the right you will select it's loading. Yeah. And on the right, you will be able to select another city and see, for example, that the cities in Italy have scored better. So you can contact them eventually and see and share best practices with them. You can also contact them directly. You will have also the opportunity to enter your best practices. And then with these best practices, you will be able to learn from each other. So it's not only a benchmarking tool, it's also what we call bench learning tool, not to reinvent the wheel. Then you can go, of course, this is the overall scoring. So how you score in total, but then you can break down the score into several clusters. As I said, we have governance, service design, and so forth, and you will be able to break down into nitty-gritties of this assessment. So, for example, what they are doing well in terms of data management, what they are doing well in terms of governance. And by the way, the governance also includes the digital skills of public administration. And what we are also working on are the policy recommendations. These policy recommendations will be automated. So based on your score, you will be given some generic policy recommendations, which you can use in developing your plans for digital transformation. What is also good is that the tool will be translated into all European languages. So anybody can, of course, access the questionnaire and the dashboard in their own language. without this language barrier. So it's not about only those people who speak perfect English that will have access to this tool. And of course, this is also open to third countries. This is not compulsory for them. They can just see how they score. They can compare themselves against European Union's peers. And yeah, this is a voluntary tool that is free of charge. And that may help establishing good connections and sharing best practices. And what is good, that you can score today. For example, you can fill in the questionnaire today. You will get these policy recommendations, and then once you implement them in 1 year, you can do the questionnaire again, and then you will see whether you have progressed and in which fields. So this is in a nutshell what we are doing now. Of course, this is there is a long way to go. We need to address lots of municipalities. We need to do promo activities. But if you are interested, I will be happy to share this link to the beta testing version. But as of 2nd of October, we will go live, and you will have access to full functionality of this new tool. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and feel free to contact this web page. And again, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to see your data in the dashboard soon.
Thank you very much, Marek. Thank you very much for this overview of the tool. Actually, quite interesting and quite important, I think, to also kind of include it now in the projects that will be run within the funding programs. I will make sure that the link and your email address, if you give me the if you give me the green light, are disseminated to the participants and beyond. Yes. And once you know that the tool has reached its final version, just feel free to reach me, and I will make sure you know that all the network are informed, so they can start using it and populating it with other data. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
For this. So now I would say we can move to the kind of second part of this plenary session. So of course, to be able to use these tools and also to be able to comply, let's say, with everything that was shared also by Mariana from DG Connect, you need the right set of skills, right? The right competencies. So this is what the Smart Site project is all about. So I will just give the floor to the coordinators, University of Patras, Vasileios and Maria. I see you're here. I will not pronounce your surnames because I will probably pronounce them wrongly. So I will let you do it.
Because they are Greek.
Exactly. So I don't want to make these mistakes. So I'll let you do it. But I would like to give you the floor to present a bit about the Smart Site project, and then we will also have a quite comprehensive overview of the skills and the findings that we have, let's say, so far within the project, as they are, of course, of interest for all the stakeholders here. Thank you.
Okay, let me arrange the screen. Sorry for the Greek you see right now.
It's okay. As far as the presentation is in English, it's fine.
Yes. Okay. Good morning, so to everybody. I am Maria Rigou. I am an assistant professor at the University of Patras, as Alessandra told you, and we are coordinating the Smart Site project. In this first part of the presentation of the project, I will make a brief overall presentation, and I will try to do it very briefly. So, Smart Site is a 3-year project. It is an Erasmus Plus lump sum project. Currently, we are almost halfway through the project, in the middle, that is. And the budget of the project, just to give you an idea, is €1.5 million. The consortium behind the project is made up of 12 partners coming from 5 different European countries. As you see on this slide, we have Bulgaria, Belgium, Greece, Italy, and Spain. And the main objective of this project is to address the well-known and very discussed skills gap we have in the smart cities domain, especially in the job profiles of technicians and engineers working in this domain. And we will try to do this by designing a training program based on a multidisciplinary approach that combines both digital skills, which are naturally very well needed, but also incorporating soft skills, entrepreneurial skills, and green skills, which are also considered very relative to the smart cities domain. So, to address this skills gap is the first and main objective of this project, but we also aim to define, formally define the two emerging job profiles, that of the smart cities engineer and the smart cities technician, and also provide a flexible training setting where trainees will have the option to attend selected modules in our courses, and according to their preferences and needs, be accredited using micro-credentials for the parts of the modules and the selections they made. Now, the expected results and the planned outputs of the project are the ones you see on this slide. First of all, we will produce, actually we have already produced a competencies map of the smart cities domain and the ESCO compliant descriptions of the two job profiles, the smart cities engineer and the smart cities technician. Also, we will produce a smart cities curriculum. Also, this is ready. And this curriculum will be multidisciplinary, as I already mentioned. A set of developed training modules on technical and soft skills, a diagnostic tool that will help our trainees to choose the personalized pathways inside the training material, a MOOC, which will provide the technical skills training, and 3 virtual worlds where we plan to do the training for the soft, the green, and the entrepreneurial skills. Now, I will pass the floor to my associate, Dr. Gamas, who will give you some more information about the work plan of the project and the current state.
Thank you, Maria. The project work plan includes 7 work packages, out of which 3 are horizontal. Work package 1 that deals with project management and coordination. Work package 6 that deals with QA, risk management and evaluation of projects. And work package 7 that deals with impact, dissemination and exploitation activities. And moreover, we have 4 vertical work packages that aim to develop the project outcomes that Maria has previously depicted. Next slide, please. The target audience of the project consists, firstly, from smart city technicians and engineers that are coming either from public organizations or private companies that are operating in the smart cities industry, as well as from students that are studying either in higher education institutions or vocational education and training providers, and they are interested in order to build their skills in the domain of smart cities. Next slide. Here, this slide depicts the chronogram and the major milestone of the project. During the previous year, we have reached 1 milestone that deals with the development of the smart cities ESCO compliant job profiles. Dr. Luis Fernandez will provide a presentation on this task at the end of this presentation, while another major milestone we reached in the previous year was the development of the first version of the smart site curriculum. Now we are almost in the middle of the project, with the aim to develop the MOOC platform for the delivery of the smart cities training in November of this year, while the plan is to have developed the virtual worlds that will be used in order to deliver the training on the horizontal skills at the beginning of the next year, and moreover to run the national pilots, to start the national pilots also at the beginning of next year. After running the national pilots, at the beginning of 2025, we will fine-tune the curriculum and the learning resources in order to produce the final version. And I would like to close the presentation with some information regarding the piloting and testing of the curriculum. The plan is to start the pilot courses in the beginning of the next year. The pilot courses will run in 2 different phases. The first phase deals with the delivery of online asynchronous courses on enabling technologies for smart cities, like big data, Internet of Things, IoT, cybersecurity, and those courses will be delivered through a MOOC, while the second phase of the courses will be delivered again through online courses. However, in this phase, these courses will be synchronous through virtual worlds, so through a, let's say, virtual reality environment, where the students and the teacher will be connecting specific time slots in order to build their horizontal skills, and more specific, their soft and the premural and green skills. And for those who may be interested in order to join these pilot courses, of course, with free of charge, a call of interest will be issued in November of this year in order to express your interest for participation. As I said, any who is interested in the smart cities domain can join free the pilot courses, and we will be happy to be with us on the testing of the curriculum. Thank you for your attention. In case that you need any more information, you have any question, you can reach me or Maria, and the contact details you see on this slide.
Thank you, Maria and Vasileios, for this very comprehensive presentation of the project, and good that you have reminded about the soon to be launched call for interest to participate in this pilot. So I'm sure that all the participants here might be interested in, let's say, upskill and reskill with throughout this pilot, and also contribute to, let's say, improve it in case, you know, it's needed. So thank you very much for reminding this. Of course, as Digital SME, we are member of the project, and we will make sure that also all our network is informed about it. So we will make sure, let's say, it will be an effort from all the stakeholders. All right, so now let's talk concretely about the skills needed to be able to work in a smart city environment. So I would like to pass the floor. I see he's already sharing the screen to Dr. Luis Fernandez Sanz from Universidad de Alcalá. The floor is yours, Luis. Thank you for being here with us and presenting the results.
Thank you very much. Thank you also to my colleagues that were presenting before the overview of the project. And I'm going to also provide a summary of some of these results on the skills profiles for technicians and engineers. So I think that you can hear me well as the sharing of the screen.
Yes.
So I will go further. And yes, Work Package 2 was very focused at the beginning with defining the role profiles. The idea is defining for technicians and engineers. And the process was very solid because we were following a good process in terms of preliminary research, then this research with a special focus on the main 2 frameworks that we have in Europe for all the parts of occupations and profiles, that are ESCO and ECF in terms of technology. Also the field research with 135 responses for qualified stakeholders, and finally experts interviews in order to clarify the interpretation of the results. Well, you can see here more or less the demographic distribution of the participants. You can see there is a variety of countries. Obviously, those ones in the consortium are having better representation than others. You can see also the professional experience, and very important, the stakeholder category, because we have not only people of the solution providers, not only people of the customers in terms of municipality and public technicians, but also experts and civil society. And yes, we wanted also to get some previous information on the background of the respondents? Well, the first thing is that we were inquiring on what are the intended functions for a smart city engineer. These statements were extracted from the ESCO labor classification. You know, that is the official labor classification for the European Union, compulsory in all member states from 2021. And that is very important because everybody can interpret our results in the same way. So you can see here that the smart city engineer need to address several functions like designing, developing a specification, monitoring projects, designing and developing cloud-based systems, etc. You can see here that most of the functions that were identified at the beginning with the preliminary research were confirmed. Regarding technicians, they are a bit different. Obviously, they are more in practical tasks for the real implementation of everything, helping in designing, but especially developing, implementing, migrating, etc., installing, importing, clearing, and interpreting collection of data. Again, most of the functions were having a good support from the respondents in terms of acceptance. Knowledge and skills. Well, for engineer, you can see here what are more or less the hard skills in terms of technical part, and also in other parts like business and social sciences, and green or environmental knowledge and skills. So you can see here that most of them are very important, although there is more importance attributed to IoT, for example, security or cloud, while the environmental skills and knowledge are not attracting so big importance in terms of the profile. This is of high relevance and for engineers, because we have more importance in knowledge than skills. But when we go to technicians, it's the opposite. Again, more or less is the same. Here, other important things are not so accepted for technicians. For example, business and management skills, green knowledge and green skills, but also important that in general, there is less relevance of knowledge regarding skills for technicians. Obviously, technicians are more in practical tasks. In general, we can see that there are some groups with higher importance, and in the case of business and management, is more important for engineers. Regarding soft skills, they are also very important. We used a very solid framework, that is the SkillsMatch framework coming from another European project. And you can see here which are the main groups of soft skills that are required for the engineer. Then going to the technician, there is also a good demand of all of them except leadership. And it is obvious that the engineers are normally adopting the role of leaders in most of the projects. So you can see here that there is a relevance, but probably the relevance for technicians are not so important as they are in engineers. Well, I'm not going to explain everything, just to show you that there is a lot of information regarding the profiles for the engineers and also for the technicians. For example, this is the case of the profile for smart cities engineers. And you can see here that there are a lot of information, the category of skill, the skill itself, the weighted average extracted from the survey, and the importance in terms of being considered essential or relevant. We want to highlight for engineers that IoT is totally essential. It's having one of the highest ranks in everything, while environmental skills are not so important in the consideration of the stakeholders. Regarding the technician is the same, but here, again, there are some parts that are not so important. In terms of technical part, learning and big data are not so important for technicians, as well as business and management and green skills and knowledge. So in general, you can see that we were able to concrete very detailed profiles, and that is very important. But the final thing that is also extremely important is the alignment with the special important frameworks in European Union. You can see here that everything was transformed into the standard 16234, also known as e-competence framework. And you can see here both the profiles for technician and engineer. This is very important because ECF is the clear framework for the technical and ICT in general profiles and occupations in Europe. But also you have all the information for being mapped to ESCO. As said, ESCO is compulsory for all member states, and you can see that engineer is mapped to 28 knowledge items from ESCO, 35 skills, and the same happens with technician with 20 and 19. Anyway, instead of spending too much time in this part, just saying that all the information is available in open access in an impact journal, Sensors, and was published at the beginning of this year. So you can access for free and to have all the information and all the details, because it is impossible to summarize everything here. So thank you for everything, and I hope that this was interesting enough for the audience.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you very much for your presentation. Of course, all the audience will receive the presentation, so you can access the full document in case you'd like to read it. Okay, so we are actually on time, so I'm glad about it because it doesn't happen often with events. So thank you very much to everyone for sticking to your slot so far. Now, I would say it's time to move to the second part of this workshop. So let me share my screen to briefly explain you what is going to happen. So let me go in full screen mode. Okay, so now we will move to, let's say, cozier environments called the breakout sessions. I have created 3 breakout sessions. You will be split according to your preference, but if you are not in the breakout room you selected during the registration, it's because we are trying to keep balance also in terms of numbers of people and attendance in each breakout session, but don't worry because each presentation will be shared and all organizations will be present in each breakout session. So don't worry at all if you don't find it, let's say if you don't find the right number. So what is going to happen in the breakout sessions? We will have, first of all, a pitch from the Auroral pilots. As I said in the beginning, this workshop is also see also the contribution of the Auroral partners. Auroral, it's a Horizon 2020 project developing an interoperable middleware, as I said before, to connect regions across Europe. And we will also launch open calls within this project very soon to either test existing solutions in the pilots, but also to integrate new services to the pilots. So I'm sure these presentations are also going to be quite interesting. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of room for discussions and to also see possible collaborations among all the partners. We will also have presentations from SMASite from SMASite partners about their organization and and what they do, and also some technology providers that will present their solutions. And if there is still time, let's say, of course, I will open room for a little bit open discussion. But otherwise, if we will run out of time, don't worry, because I will put you in contact with everyone and all the organizations that presented, so you can take it, you know, from there in a more, let's say, in a calmer way. So I ask my colleague if she can split us in breakout session, and we will reconvene around 11:50. But I will make sure with my colleagues that everyone is aligned with the presentations and timings. So thank you very much. I'll see you back in plenary in half an hour, more or less.